All right, guys, we're back to install xDevApi for MySQL 8.0 and PHP 7.4. This has been a little bit tricky on the latest version of Ubuntu 20.04, and actually probably just tricky for the latest version of PHP 7.4. And actually, we will see why here pretty quick. So let's go to the documentation on how to do this. We'll do PHP xDevApi, hit the manual, and installation. And you'll see right away that the example installation procedure for this is on Ubuntu 18.04 with PHP 7.2. So we're going to go ahead and actually follow these instructions just so you can see what happens. Obviously, instead of 7.2, we're going to put 7.4 where applicable. But for the most part, follow these instructions the way they're written here. So let's go ahead and get started. Slide this over so I can read it. All right, apt install build essential lib proto buff dash dev lib boost dash dev open ssl proto buff dash compiler lib lz 4 dash tool and zstd. And I messed something up. Lib proto buff. I got an O I'm missing. Throw that O in. There we go. We're rocking. We're rocking out. All right, we're going to install that. That's the first line there. And the next is where we'll be installing the specific version of CLI, Dev, MySQL, PDO, and XML PHP packages. So we'll let this install. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it here and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so that first line's done. Let's go ahead and run the next round of install. apt install PHP 7.4 dash CLI, PHP 7.4 dash dev, PHP 7.4 dash MySQL, PHP 7.4 dash PDO, PHP 7.4 dash XML. Right on, here we go. All right, I'm gonna let that install. Pause here. And we're back. So that's done. Now, this is where I ran into trouble last time. Now, I did this fresh install test about a day or two ago. So anything's possible. Maybe they've already fixed this. That would be wonderful. And then this would be an incredibly awesome short video. So the very next line on the PHP documentation after installing all that is PECL install MySQL underscore xDevApi. You get a couple lines of goofy notices. I just hit enter for auto. Oop, that was not correct. Hold on. I'm controlling seeing out of this. Try again. Because that is not where that library was. I was supposed to hit enter for auto detect. Okay, enter for auto detect. Enter for auto detect. Could have been worse than what I was thinking. All right, yep, here we go. So it did fail. And it's a little bit of a silly failure. I've looked into it a little bit. Not 100% sure why this file, when run using that command, doesn't exist. It just doesn't. But when you do a quick search on manual, and I might be messing this up, manual PECL compile. Yeah, compiling shared extensions with PHP eyes. So if we actually just follow these instructions, it works. So let's go ahead and do that. It says to cd into the extension name. So there's a couple of steps here that I'm going to actually just do right now. I'll show you guys what needs to happen first before you can do the PHP eyes. And so we know this first command, right? The PECL install MySQL xDevApi. I'm going to go ahead and remove that out of here because we don't need that anymore. That's from an old video. So clear. All right, so we're in the root directory. And if we do PECL, can't talk, help, we can see that we've got a download package option. So instead of install, let's go ahead and download that. So clear PECL, download MySQL _ xDevApi. This will download the latest version that they have. And actually, it's fast. It's already done. And the next thing we want to do, because that's not enough, we need to actually kind of extract it. And I suppose we could just use tar for that. But PECL has another function, and that is bundle right here. Unpacks a PECL package. So we're going to run that. PECL bundle and the file name MySQL xDevApi, and it says package ready at /root/MySQL xDevApi lists the files we can see. We have in fact that directory. So let's go into it, and that brings us back to these instructions here. So we cd into the extension, and then we run these commands. And hopefully this works. Last time I tried it, it did. So here goes nothing. PHP eyes. Simple enough. That one's done. /configure. Runs through there. And we do the make step. And right there. So see, this actually already is getting past that point on that file. If you look right there, and it's going to scroll up fast. Right there, mysqlx.lo. So it exists when you run these commands. And if you read these instructions here, or part of the docs here, it says sometimes using the PECL installer is not an option. This could be because you're behind a firewall, or it could be because the extension you want to install is not available as a PECL compatible package, such as unreleased extensions from SVN. If you need to build such an extension, you can use lower level build tools to perform the build manually. The PHP eyes command is used to prepare the build environment for a PHP extension. In the following sample, the sources for an extension are in a directory named extension name. So it doesn't really come right out and explicitly say this, but it's largely running these commands when you type in PECL install. It does the PHP eyes, it does the configure step, it does the make step, and it does the make install step. But actually what we're failing on is the make step. I'm really not sure why it works when I do it this way. I'm not that smart. I don't get it. I kind of stumbled on this and got lucky that the install finished, and it works. It actually works really well. So this step right here, the make step, it does take a while. So go grab yourself a beer, grab a coffee. It's a Thursday night and I don't have to work tomorrow. So I've got myself Centennial IPA. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that on YouTube. Maybe they'll bring down my video, or I'll have to blur that out. But yeah, so take your time, relax, and we'll be back. All right, so that took about, I don't know, anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. I really didn't time it out. Probably should have. And actually, there is a clock at the top there. You guys can do the math if you want, how long that took or how long you're expecting it to take. That was the make step. So the very last step is the make. Oh, make sure I'm typing in here. Make install. And there we go. So basically all it does is copy the library file into that folder there. And if we go back to the original installation instructions, now we can kind of pick up where we left off. This was the failing instruction here. It didn't work when we ran that command. We had to go over here and break it down command by command and got her done. So now we need to do this. And actually, for whatever reason, whenever I try this particular line, sometimes it messes up on me and I just have to nano into a file, but we'll go ahead and do it, see what happens. If I have a problem, I'll show you guys how I solve it. Echo extension MySQL underscore xDevApi .so end quotation into the file in the directory /etc php /7.4 mods available MySQL underscore xDevApi.ini. And it worked for me that time. Fantastic. All right, so on to the next line, which is that. We'll do PHP nmod, which I think stands for PHP enable mod. But, you know, I like to guess. I like to make things up in my head. This says 7.2, but obviously we're doing 7.4 -s all MySQL xDevApi. Cool. So that went, and actually this line here is an alternative, said an alternative to PHP nmod is to manually symlink it. So we can skip that one. We don't need to manually symlink it because that works. And then we'll just double check, say PHP-m and grep MySQL. And you'll see that we in fact have MySQL xDevApi. But one step that they don't mention here, at least I didn't see it. Yeah, they don't mention it here. And I know this from doing this more than once now. You really do need to do a system control restart of PHP 7.4 -fpm. And now it will work. In fact, if we run our PHP info that we made in a couple of videos back, that's our info.php. Do a quick little search here for MySQL. You'll see, number one, it's loading our ini file. But if we search down, we will see that it is installed and active. But what fun is it just taking PHP info at its face value and just assuming that it's good? No. Let's actually use the library. Yeah, okay, so let's come back to the documentation. We've installed the xDevApi successfully, which, by the way, I love xDevApi. I've played with it enough. We're going to do more videos on this. It's quite fantastic. Whether or not people embrace xDevApi with PHP and MySQL, I guess we'll see. I'm sure there's people out there, but right now there's not many videos that I've found on YouTube. Let's just do a quick aside. Let's just do a quick little YouTube search and type in PHP xDevApi. MySQL sanitized variables with PHP. This is 4 months ago. RESTful API with PHP and MySQL. Nothing that really specifically calls out xDevApi. And if you get into these videos, and I've watched a couple of them, they really aren't geared toward xDevApi. Now, MySQL has released some videos about xDevApi, but again, nothing super specific to PHP. So that's partly why I think I'm going to create some videos, because I kind of want to get this out here. PHP has xDevApi, ability to connect to MySQL, and it's awesome. So let's go back to the docs here and the xDevApi, and let's just run their basic example, which is this right here. So let's make us up a file. We will clear our screen. We will cd into var www HTML, and we're going to nano a test. We're going to nano a test.php. All right. Do the opening and closing tags because I like to, and you can't stop me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to open and close those tags. You watch me. And I open and close those curly braces. You see how I did that? We're going to catch the exception with the $E. And we're going to open and close some curly braces again. We are on fire. And we're just going to die with the $E arrow get message for now, because, you know, we're playing. We don't need nothing fancy. None of that fancy stuff. And if we get past this, we're going to echo a success. How about that? We're going to echo a success. All right, here's what we're going to try. $session equals MySQL underscore xDevApi / get session. Okay, you with me so far? Here we go. Open and close quotation marks. MySQL x : / root : 1 2 3 4 5. Let's see if it fails. We're gonna just at least make sure we can put in a wrong password. That seems important. At localhost. That is not localhost. What am I typing right now? Localhost. Okay. We're gonna save. I just hit Control S. It saved it. It said it wrote 9 lines. Wow, I wrote 9 lines of code just now. That's a new record. All right, here we go. Info? Nah, we don't need no info. Let's do test.php and see what happens. Access denied for root at localhost using password yes. This is fantastic. xDevApi is working. It just denied me access using the wrong password. I'm so excited right now. Let's go ahead and put in the right password and see where we get with that. Maybe we get a little success message. Control S for save. It wrote 9 lines of code again. Probably very similar to this last 9 lines that it used. Refresh. Success. Success. I love it. Let's not stop there. I am just getting started. We're only 18 minutes into this video. I've got time for another example, and you guys want to see it. I know you do. You are so stoked. You are just as stoked as I am. Let's do an SQL command through PHP using xDevApi. That sounds like fun. Let's do it. There is no SQL example in the initial example, so we are going to have to back out and go up a level into the MySQL xDevApi documentation and come down here to this fancy schmancy subclass function, whatever you want to call it. I've really never been big on terminology. I like thingamabob. That's how I'm going to call it. We're looking for a thingamabob. Okay, session. Session, which we have, because we did $session equals, so we have a session. And because it said success, it must mean it worked. We know we have a session variable in PHP that has a function called SQL. and it will execute an SQL query. So let's do that. Right after success. All right. And we're going to do results equals, we're going to modify this a little bit, and maybe you guys can take a little bit of some of the stuff that I've been learning by playing with this, because some of the examples, they don't really go all the way with some of the stuff you might want to do. And obviously, by the way, running SQL commands using xDevApi is a far cry from what you would be using xDevApi for. I'm just doing this to show that it's working. All right. So anyhow, $session, arrow SQL, and we're just going to show databases because I want to see them. I want to see them databases. Arrow execute, right? Okay, and this is where the documentation does not show, but I am telling you that because we're showing databases, we need to get those results. We got to see them. What are we going to do? We're just going to execute the command? What good is a show databases command if you can't see the results? Okay? Understand where I'm going? All right. Follow me now. We're executing, and we're going to chain a fetch all command. And we're going to do a crazy thing that you do when you're playing around. All right. We're going to do a var dump. Yes, you guessed it. We're doing a var dump right now of the dollar results. How about them apples? Control S, save. We're heading back to the tab. I'm going to bring this into view. I hope I've been bringing this into view this whole time. Maybe I haven't. Apologize for that, but here we go. Refresh. Looks like there's some things happening. Let's view page source because it's a little nicer. Oh yeah, here we go. Success. We've got an array of results. That's what we've got. Fan-freaking-tastic. All right, guys, that's going to conclude this video. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I'm really super stoked about this whole xDevApi, and I'm kind of stoked that it's on PHP. Hope you guys are too. Catch me in the next video. I don't know what we're doing in the next video. I haven't decided. Up to this point, I wanted to get to getting xDevApi installed, and I wanted to show you guys how to get her done. So yeah, just hit the subscribe, maybe a like, I don't care. Maybe just hit dislike. I mean, whatever, it's fine. Response is not a bad thing. If people are watching my video, beggars can't be choosers. But all right, peace out, guys.